Even worse.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Okay, it'll take a second. My wine is here blocking your things. We'll just wait for a moment and then Facebook will populate that audience. Cheers, girls.
Cheers.
Is Facebook. Oh, there we go. People are coming. So, as you can see, we are a little bit further away than normal. Normally, it's camera up in our grills, and we're talking, and it's great. But we're here in my kitchen, at the corner of my kitchen island, because I'm very excited. So, you know Dawn, we do these Q&As all the time. So, this lady to my left, how many years have we known each other now?
At least 5.
It was right when you launched.
Right when we launched, like the first event that we did.
That's when we met.
That's when we met.
Yeah, because Teresa and Leslie were like, you need to go over and meet Liza. And I tell her this all the time. When they were like, she was on a soap opera and she has this product, I was like, it's good, because I see so much stuff, you know? And I was like, okay, great, I'll feign interest, you know? And I went over and I talked with you and looked at everything and I was like, oh no, this is actually legit. Like, she's on top of it and this is a really good product. So I was like, game on, and I showed her. Been big fans ever since. And
Thank you, Jamie. I literally remember, I have it in my head, the first time I met you, we were in our kind of table in our booth at Big City Moms, and you came over and you did your glance over and you're like, so, what is all this? And you did your thing and I started telling you, we just bonded, and it's been so great. I can't believe it's been 5 years.
5 years.
Oh my gosh.
That's insane. And what's even crazier to me, this is the first time Dawn and Liza have met.
We have not met before.
I thought they'd met prior.
Talking for weeks and weeks and weeks, but
yes.
Yeah.
First time in person.
Yes. And this is my first Facebook Live ever.
Yay!
I mean, I feel...
Give her some hearts for that, guys.
We need hearts. We need all the hearts. We can see the hearts. We can't see anything else. To see the questions, I'm gonna be like...
There's hearts.
Thank you.
Love what you said. I love what you did. Thank you guys for showing your
my God.
So,
thank you guys. Thank you so much.
I would also like you to know that right before we started, Liza said, Liza said, Jamie, can we get rid of this?
Just for this.
No, I know. But what this is, it's my Celine Dion magnets in my ticket stub, a Captain Picard magnet, and all kinds of random...
Because it's so busy.
I know it's distracting.
It's so distracting.
It's distracting.
I was going to put it back, but I put it right back.
It's all fine. So we thought this would be fun. Liza flew here from Long Island.
From Boston. We're in Massachusetts now. It's only been a few months.
Same difference. Northeast. She flew in from New England this morning so that we could talk about her product, and we're gonna show you how easy it is to actually make baby food for your own babies. We have some questions here. I have another phone in my pocket. And we're just going to talk and answer questions and live life. We're going to drink some wine. We're going to live life. We're going to
eat and feed him.
We decided last minute that we're going to do a giveaway with this.
Big one.
So three winners are getting a massive bundle of all things Sage Spoonfuls, which you will get to see when we get chatting about it.
Absolutely. Each prize package is worth over $200, I think.
Wow.
So we're going to pick 3 winners. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we'll pick them randomly from your comments. So make sure you heart, make sure you comment, and then I'll go through them, or Lainey will. That's
Be active.
That's how we operate. I'm spending the next 4 years on a plane. So, why did you make? What was your what inspired you to come out with this company?
So I first had my idea for Sage Spoonfuls after my son Royce was born, which was 10 years ago. I cannot believe it. And I was on a soap opera.
And your background is what?
Soap opera.
Which soap opera were you on?
Passions on NBC. I was the scorned and quite nasty, I might say, Gwen Hotchkiss. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I had the idea for Sage Spoonfuls when after I had Royce, but I was working on the soap opera. So I didn't really have the time to start a company. And then my sweet Brendan was born, and he was born over 2 months premature, and that was a game changer. I was not going to go leave him and go be on the set. I mean, that was the game changer. For 2 years, I was home with him, and but this idea for this product line came in my head because when I was working, when I had Royce, there was really literally nothing on the market to make this easy. This should be an easy thing, and it was such a big ordeal, and I was those little cubes and taping them up, and it was just a mess. So once Brendan was home from the hospital, and doing well and thriving, this idea, because I love to work, I'm just full of ideas.
She's a hustler. We are all hustlers.
We're
to
all
survive
hustlers,
in this industry,
right?
you've got to be a hustler.
Yeah, and I sat some of my family members down and my husband and told them this idea, and everyone really, thought it was great. And what I thought was going to be a small kind of boutique-y, indie brand has become a major national, now international
And I remember
brand.
that's when it was just like, oh, you're just launching up in specialty, and it was great.
Right.
And like slowly I picked you guys up.
Right.
And now it's just like, it's everywhere.
Really everywhere. And now we really, my whole philosophy is baby food does not need to be fancy. It should not take, forever. It doesn't need to be recipes. I mean, literally our whole thing is it does need to be fancy, but it does need to be fresh.
I love that.
Because really we're talking, mainly about preventing picky eating tonight, and it's all about taste. And we all know, store-bought baby food, it just doesn't taste right. And why does it not taste right? Because it's been sterilized to sit on the shelf for 2 years.
Yeah.
And so if we want to introduce our babies to food, it's about the experience, and we want it to taste like real food. So if we're giving them these kind of bland and brown and kind of, overcooked green beans, even if it's organic in a pouch, it doesn't taste exactly right. So why, when they're 18 months or 2 years old, will they want the fresh cooked one?
And you guys don't know any kids who just like bland
No,
food, like
picky
chicken
eaters
nuggets or French fries or anything.
And it's
It
also,
starts here. It starts here.
Not to demean like the pouch food that's like it's there when you need it.
It's there when you need it.
If you got
It's
something
there when you
going
need it,
on.
but as a steady diet.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I want to show you guys how super, super easy it is to make your own baby food. So much, really everything we're going to show you this evening doesn't even need to be cooked. And I believe when you make one thing, it can feed multiple people in the family, whether it's yourself and the baby, or you're making something for the baby and it happens to be the side dish for the rest of the family. A lot of people will say that, there's 2 reasons people don't make their own baby food. 2 main reasons. Number one, they feel they don't have the time, which is, we all are so busy, whether we have 1 child or 6 children, we work, we don't work, we're all very busy. But it really doesn't take very much time at all. And the other thing is people think that they are going to do something to hurt their baby. Maybe they're not, maybe they don't know how to cook, and the whole thing is, it's really not about cooking so much. It's just about kind of mashing things with a fork, putting it in your blender and just mashing it up. And babies can have so much more raw food than you would think. So rather than being sterilized for 2 years, you can have it raw and fresh.
I just realized my fan was on. So
Can you hear me now?
we won't have that.
That's the difference.
Sorry about it. I'm just used to running this all day because
Can
it's
you
my
hear the
favorite.
difference? Pardon?
I apologize for that.
And I'm loving Jamie's, I don't know if you can see it, is sloth, wine,
Yes.
char,
bring
and
it up.
things.
It's your it's a very
It's your
sensible.
usual.
A sensible
Sloth.
sloth charm.
It's a
sensible
sloth wine charm.
Yeah, see? Everyone's loving it. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put my wine down, and I want to show you guys one of my very, very favorite first meals. Avocado, banana. They're great individually. They're great when mixed together. No cooking. You need a fork and a bowl and a knife to cut it open.
Yeah. And I'm going to be very honest here. So I had to go grocery shopping for this.
Oh my God.
And we know, it's fine. She flew here. So we all know I have my food issues. I don't like avocado. So I had to buy avocado, and I don't know how to buy avocado because I don't eat it. So I was like squeezing all of them.
These
and I'm
are
like,
rock hard.
I think it's
Rock
supposed to be soft, but none of these are. And I really tried. But my local King Super did not have a stellar avocado assortment today. So I tried my best.
And we were texting back and forth, and I'm like, okay, let's tell Jamie, to pick up these items, and we're talking back and forth, and we're like, avocado, and she's like, make sure you write ripe avocado. Well, everyone knows that it should be ripe avocado, right? And I was like, ripe avocado, and then she's like, and then ripe bananas, and we're like, yeah, right, because everybody likes some people like their avocado a little bit harder, some like like it softer. Bananas too. I don't like them very, very ripe, and then some people
I like
them
my bananas
ripe.
firm.
Yeah, so it just depends, and so it was funny being specific and having time to go do the shopping, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna put
So
this in here.
real quick, just this actual system, the reason I love it is because you can use it as a grown-ass man when you have no children. I need a new one, by the way. I left it at my apartment when I moved. But you need a towel.
I'm getting a towel.
You need a paper towel. So what I've done, I've started using Amazon Pantry to order paper towels because I hate dealing with them. What I love that you can get your bulk paper towels. What I don't like is you have no control over what the prints are. And my paper towels show up with like flowers and crap all over.
But they match today.
Um,
Sage. So they
But
match
this
today.
system,
Sage.
it is a food processor and an immersion blender in one.
Yes.
And that's what I love about
Here,
it.
show them the immersion blender.
Yes.
Yeah, so this little motor just pops off and you pop it right on there. So you
Yeah.
really, you can, you know, the reason I wanted to do that was so as parents, we're not limited in any way as to how much food we can make, you know, what consistency, you know, it just doesn't always get, you know, totally puree.
Yeah.
You can make many different consistencies because it's really important,
Yeah.
helping prevent picky eating, moving your child through texture.
Yes.
So, I mean, you can make, you know, like a giant pot of applesauce for all of your kids. You put it in a big bowl and you can mash it with the immersion blender, or here you can make one avocado, one banana in the food processor and just whip it up in seconds.
Excellent. Yeah, I used this these last couple of nights and I loved it.
I mean, I literally use these for everything. So we're just putting one avocado, preferably ripe, and one banana into here. We're just gonna mash it up.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to buy foods I don't eat.
We still love you so much.
What I love about it is that it's pretty quiet. And so for those of you who have kids with sensory issues that really have a hard time with like the sounds of blenders and coffee grinds and all of that, this is really quiet. And so that's one thing that I really loved about it when I was exploring all of these products is that I'm like, wow, it's not very loud. This is really nice to be able to.
And you know, I want to show everyone
Mhm.
the consistency. Because as you can see, let me see
There you go.
it's not runny, you know, like you see in store-bought food. I mean, it's totally mushy, but it doesn't like run and
doesn't
drip
drip.
all. You know, you don't need runny, drippy food. Because the point is to be able to hold the food, you know, in your mouth, learning how to swallow. And this is so great, banana and avocado, not only for baby's first food, but also you can mash the avocado. You can put it on toast sticks or crackers.
Everybody loves an avocado toast right now.
Avocado toast is the rage.
Except for me. I don't like avocado.
Whoa.
But all my friends are obsessed with avocado toast.
Banana. Close your eyes.
Banana.
Here comes the airplane.
I don't do that.
You
You
gotta
have to
close
lean
your
in
eyes.
for it.
Yes.
Got it. You got it. Banana. It's all banana.
It's all banana.
You don't taste anything.
I will say I had a really, really good chocolate dessert once that was based on avocado.
Yes,
And you
yes.
can taste avocado at all.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it was good.
Yes. You put it in the cocoa.
It's
All
a
you
little
taste-
different, but it mostly tastes banana.
It's mostly
Yeah.
tastes like banana.
Yeah,
And there's
and I love banana.
There's one whole avocado in there. It has such healthy fats for
Yes.
baby's developing brain.
Yes.
And then you can spread it on some toast and have it for your lunch. So you fed baby and you fed yourself. Another great thing is hard-boiled eggs
Nope.
mixed with avocado.
Yes.
That's
He
what
doesn't,
my,
that's his other
I
thing.
would
He was
want
like,
it.
so she doesn't know all of these
She doesn't know
things.
my
So all of you
things.
know all these things.
I gotta
but
do some work on
eggs,
it.
No, my
eggs,
hard-boiled
mustard,
eggs.
avocado. We just have to keep cooking for him. So I'm gonna steal this so I can show you guys too. The other thing that I love about this is that it's see-through.
Yes.
So a lot of them are not see-through, so
Yes.
the kids can't see what you're actually making. And so this is a beautiful color. It starts to explore colors for kids and really seeing that this turns into this.
Yes, and we don't want
Beautiful.
kids to be afraid of anything green.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Because green means veggies.
Mhm.
Right? It can also mean delicious.
Absolutely. Right, Jamie?
Yeah, that wasn't bad. I would eat that. I would put them on like some toasted French bread or something.
Absolutely. I mean, when you, if you can make as much homemade baby food as possible, the taste, the smell, you know, the aroma, the texture, visually, that beautiful bright color, everything is so much more overall appealing that baby gets more excited.
Yes.
They get way more
Yeah.
Smell it,
excited.
Jamie. How does it,
The smell is great.
It smells so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. All I smell is banana. Like, I
Crackers are
don't
right
smell
here.
avocado.
I'm gonna stick a little
Oh.
bit of that onto a cracker and so lean
There you
into
go.
it. There you
There you
go. So we're gonna talk a little bit about feeding styles
I'm trying.
and while she's gonna be making our next recipe, but You guys, for those of you who have seen this before, you know that was one feeding style. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Get rid of this.
I don't know if I love, like, there are things like I love peanut butter and crackers. Personally, the texture of that, because I can eat that with a spoon. The texture of that on a cracker mixed together, I didn't love.
But you know what you can do? You can take out the banana and just mash the avocado with a little like pink salt. But it's the same texture. The Himalayan salt. Try to avoid the white table salt that we always get because it's been like bleached and it's pretty much devoid of nutrients. This is just a little like nugget.
Yes.
The pink Himalayan salt is full of nutrients. It's full of vitamins. It's so good. So try to buy the
I
pink
got all
salt.
these canisters of salt from Sorbitol that I use.
Yes.
So
Yeah, is it pink?
Yeah.
So
some
usually
are pink,
all
some are
those-
gray. Like
some are
the
gray.
gray salt, I love.
And that's good. It's
Yeah.
just that white
Yeah.
table salt is totally devoid
Is it the
of
same as,
anything.
like, is kosher salt also bleached out and bad?
You know, I'm not gonna know. I don't
I'm
know.
not sure about that either.
Because I don't use like white table salt. I use kosher salt
Yeah.
or pink.
But you know what? It's the same thing with sugar, cane sugar,
Right.
like white. It's the same thing with flour. If it's white, it's been bleached. So
Yeah.
try to get, you know, the organic or the natural cane
Sugar
sugar.
in the raw.
Sugar in the raw.
It's what I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah,
Yeah, for my
perfect.
coffee.
Absolutely. So another one of my favorite tricks, and that's so easy, and again, it's something you can make for your baby, you can have for yourself, for your toddlers, for your big kids, is, you know, yogurt smoothies and yogurt mixes. I mean, they're so popular to buy in the store right now. What I love is don't buy the yogurt that already has the fruit in it, because it takes 2 seconds to mash your own fresh fruit into it, because now also that hasn't been, you know,
Processed.
sterilized and processed. So basically, we're just going to, we're just going to put, you can use whatever yogurt you want. You can use dairy yogurt, almond milk yogurt, coconut milk yogurt, goat milk, either plain flavor or like a low sugar vanilla. And you're just gonna.
And this is a Greek yogurt that I bought, and we're not mentioning brands because apparently I didn't buy the right thing.
But it
because I
doesn't
also,
matter. We appreciate the effort, and that's
He doesn't
all
like
that matters.
yogurt.
Because I also don't eat yogurt, and I don't know how to buy yogurt,
You did a great job. You did a great job.
but I do know how to buy wine, and I got it.
And you did a really
That's
good
right.
job. So, any kind of yogurt that you like, and this is a great, you know, breakfast, lunch, snack. You know, it's soccer and
Yes.
soccer season, and oh my gosh, you have 4 kids, and you just pick them up from school. Now you have a game, and what are you gonna do? I mean, you can make up like a giant thing of a yogurt blend. You know, stick them in our Sage squeezies, chuck them in your bag, and throw one to everyone in the car.
We give Gearapalooza, we give almost every Gearapalooza, we give like one of the big kids away and these squeezies.
Yeah. So the squeezies, this is actually my own personal patent pending design. Because as a mom, I have 4 young kids. How old are they? 4, 6, 8, and 10. And I used a lot of the pouches.
Holy crap, they're that old.
They're that old. They're that old. Is that crazy? And I used a lot of pouches, and I found them, number one, a huge mess to fill, and you could not clean them. So what we did was we did a whole big side opening, and then there's a gusset here where it opens up, and they just stand, and they just stay open, so you can pour them, you can
Fill
fill
it from
with
the
spoon.
side.
You fill it from the side.
Do you
and
like
then,
that part
And
of
then
it?
you can see, you know,
Part
you see what's in here.
if you like filling from the side
Filling
instead
from
of
the side,
spout.
dishwasher safe, there's no spout, you don't need to waste your money on a filling station, you just use your spoon or you pour directly from the food processor. So anyway, so we're putting some fresh strawberries in with the yogurt. We're gonna close up the top. Gonna give a few quick pulses here.
So quiet. I really like that. So
And
quiet.
literally in 5 seconds, we have this beautiful homemade strawberry yogurt. And, you know, with fresh, you know, preferably organic.
Those are organic. I did buy organic
Yes,
strawberries.
excellent.
I do know to buy organic fruits and veggies.
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
try my best.
And literally, this can be a snack for you while you're schlepping the kids around.
And then
You know,
I
or
will
working
say,
at home.
I'm going to plug my family history for a moment here
Go for
because
it.
these are Driscoll. So, like when you go to the store,
Love
it's
it.
Driscoll. My grandfather, for years, we have about 1,000 acres of farmland
That's
in
amazing.
Arkansas, and they were berry farmers. And when I was growing up, we used to take all the berries to the farmers market, and Driscoll were some of the people that would buy their berries.
Oh my gosh.
Now,
Using local farmers.
Now
I
you
love
know.
it. Love it.
now you know.
So we're gonna give him a bite.
And I'm
And
going
this
to
you're
warn you
gonna
right
love.
now, I do
And-
not like yogurt.
Yes, you're gonna love this. The strawberries are so vibrant and delicious and fresh. You're gonna love it. Really.
So I'm very excited that he's trying the avocado and now the yogurt.
I'm taking one for the team right
Yes,
now.
and for all you families that are watching for the first time and you have a picky eater, he struggles with some of these sensory issues, and so every single Facebook Live, we end up challenging his sensory system for this.
Yeah.
So this is perfect because it's fresh and it's new. So, and for those of you who haven't seen one of these before about feeding your kid, if you're going to serve purees and you're going to feed, you want to feed at baby's mouth level, and you don't put the spoon into
Don't shove it in my mouth. You want the baby or the baby guy to lean forward
Yes.
to come to the spoon.
Yes. And pull away. So I'm not pulling away the spoon
No,
either.
you can't be
Or you don't like to hurt.
But you're such a good sport. There's the one.
Such a good sport. Here we go.
Such a good sport.
So this is the thing, right? We just want kids to try it. We want baby guy to try it. We want kids to be able to experience something new.
Absolutely. And you know what I want to say about making your own yogurt mixes is actually super great to make homemade popsicles. We have our
I used to eat those. I used to eat the yogurt popsicles, no problem.
Because it's frozen.
It's
frozen.
It's
The consistency.
see,
Yeah.
this is the same reaction. For those of you who saw it, you awful unicorn frappuccino. That was why at the end of it, it was so disgusting to me. It wasn't in the beginning. It was this tart mixed with dairy, and to me, it's a yogurt sense memory thing.
Okay.
And it just is nasty to me. But I tried.
Yes, he tried it.
You try it, and
Tried
see,
it.
that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So another thing you can do when you make these kind of homemade yogurt blends is the secret is to making your own popsicles. You take one of our jars here, you put a little slice of banana in the bottom, then you take your wooden popsicle stick and you stick it in the banana, and that's how it sticks.
Good
That's how it stays
idea.
up. And then you're gonna pour your yogurt mix in there, however full you want, pop them in the freezer, and in 4 hours or overnight or 2 days later or whenever you want it, you're just gonna taste, it's gonna be frozen, you're gonna run it under your warm water, pop it out. And that's it. And picky eaters will eat, including yourself, right? Will eat almost anything in popsicle form.
Mm-hmm.
You can mix spinach in with stuff. Just put a lot of blueberries in there, and then it's gonna look purple, and they won't even know.
Yeah.
I tell you, I do love like a good smoothie with a ton of spinach or kale in it.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And a great thing is as you're kind of working up the textures and your baby's getting older is taking those foods that your baby always loved, let's say banana, and then adding in the veggies like spinach, fresh baby spinach and banana is so delicious together, and it can be raw. I mean,
I have some on the counter over there that I bought. I went and bought spinach, and I'll tell you, spinach for me, I never liked it as a kid because we used to eat a lot, and my mom would not wash all the stuff off of it, so it was gritty and sandy. And so I never wanted to eat it again. So it took me a long time to get back into spinach mode.
But good for you.
Now,
for
I love spinach.
Yeah.
Put spinach in a salad.
I mean, spinach, it also, especially the fresh baby spinach, it doesn't really have much of a taste. It's just sometimes when the kids see the green. I mean, actually, this is vanilla yogurt with the strawberries. You can put spinach in here. You can put, sun butter or almond butter for a little extra protein. And you can, and maybe instead of the banana slice, you can put a dollop of the sun butter or peanut butter or almond butter once your kid's a year old, and the stick will stick in there.
Right.
I mean, I'm literally a popsicle freak. I will make anything out of popsicles. And, you can just mix anything in there.
Yeah.
Because Mason, our 4-year-old, he really, calling him picky is not even exactly the word. It's not even so much about the food. He just wants to fight me. He just wants to fight me, but he'll eat anything frozen or in a smoothie. I mean, it could be like the brightest green. His thing is he loves a smoothie. So
Right.
I just fill them with, hemp seeds, for protein and
yeah,
antioxidant.
yeah.
And we have what we call a pudding, which is very similar to what you were talking about, the avocado, and we put the raw cacao powder in there, and a banana, and sometimes some yogurt, and just throwing, maybe ground chia in there. You can make a popsicle, and he'll eat it. He asks for a pudding and
Really?
cheese crackers.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's so much that we can get away with. I mean, we want them so much to love the colors and to love the fresh food, but a lot of us, people already have picky eaters. So how do you get that food in? One of my favorite things is, you find something they love. Most kids love pasta, right? In red sauce. It is amazing what you can hide in red sauce. I mean, I will cook the cauliflower in there. We take the stick blender and we blend it up right there in the pot, and the kids don't even know. You mix the cauliflower into the mac and cheese. You can mix broccoli and spinach into the red sauce, and they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. You can also put like butternut squash and sweet potato into your vanilla yogurt. There's so much you can do. Chickpeas, blend them up, stick them in the yogurt.
Really?
You would hate it.
I would hate it. I would hate it so much.
So much. black beans and banana for stage 2 up. That's a great thing. And again, you don't have to cook it. Like eat an organic. The cans, they don't have BPA in them or whatever. Rinse off all the junk. Put them in your Sage baby puree and blend it up and mix it with anything. There's so much you can do.
And I love that
And
the combination that she's saying is protein based.
Yes.
So it's protein in a fruit, protein in a vegetable, and really being able to balance that for our picky eaters is so important.
I will say, she has a great cookbook in here, and aside from it, like, actually being good, the photographs are beautiful.
Thank you
it's
very much.
It's a beautiful cookbook.
You know, when I wrote the book, I looked and I saw what was out there, and everything was so recipe based and so time consuming and measuring. I mean, who on earth has time for that? And so what I did was I wrote this book for how I made baby food and food for kids, you know, having all these kids. And it's about, I'm gonna come up close and I'm gonna show you.
And I actually flipped it so you can read.
You did? You're so good.
Yeah.
So we do like the single food. So here's avocado. Here's all the wonderful vitamins in it. Here's, you know, to prepare it. You want to take it on the go. A lot of people wonder how long can the puree stay out of the refrigerator. And then these are some, you know, things that are good to mix with it. We have like hundreds and hundreds. Here's how to make your own baby oatmeal, own baby rice cereal. We have a fun note section in the back of each thing. And like, you know, prunes. I mean, there's so much like
Show some of the photography in there.
Yeah. Some of the photography.
Yeah. Because I'm a sucker for photos. It's why I like my Instagram. But it's like the stuff in here, like it's shot nice. So you go through it and you're like, the pictures.
And here's like our beautiful jars in the.
It really highlights the colors. That's what I love so much about it.
You know, all the beautiful colors. And really, my whole point with Sage Spoonfuls is just, I'm just seeing how shiny I am. Oh my goodness.
You get shiny.
It's that soap star thing. I can't help it.
I get tickled and I get red. So it's like, whatever.
Here's our strawberry applesauce, which is so good. You know, you make your applesauce and then you just mix in some fresh raw strawberries. I mean, as much raw as possible once baby's about 7 months old, because then they're getting all the wonderful fresh benefits of raw food. It's just so good. You know, like butternut squash is such a wonderful staple. So here it is, how to prepare it on its own. And here's all these great things. I mean, butternut squash, you know, parsnip and apple. I mean, all these great things. You know, you look in your fridge. What do I have in the fridge? Oh, I have this and this. And you wonder, does that go together? Who would think that apricot and lima beans are delicious? They are. It's good.
Ooh.
I certainly would.
That sounds so good.
Because I love an apricot, but I will never eat a legume.
A legume?
I do not like a bean. I do not like a bean.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but it's so good for
Like,
you.
I will eat fruit all day long. I love vegetables as long as they're not cooked. But it's like...
Oh my gosh, I'm going to put this aside here. So, I mean, I meant to have a third bowl.
Rinse it out real quick.
Yeah.
We're going to rinse this one out, so get ready for water.
Because what I did was, I grabbed 3 blender boxes for my office, and one of them was full of some fabulous new product samples of things we are launching in July, but alas, it did not have a third blender in the box.
This is called real life.
Real
This is
life.
called real life. You
Real
make
life.
food, just like when you're making food.
Well, I think it's easy too. That's what I noticed. Is it's so clean and so easy to clean.
It's so
it's like we're
clean.
actually showing that it's so easy.
Yeah.
to
While everything is dishwasher safe, you also can just run it under the water. You know? Here, I'm gonna
pour it in a minute, or do you want to pour it in?
You know, here, I'm gonna put it in. I don't want to put it in. Oh, let me put it in this bowl right here.
What a mess. Just living our lives. I'm gonna come over here and see how things are going.
Okay.
I'm gonna stand over here and read while they work on things.
Okay. So another great thing about making your own baby food is there's so many awesome combinations. I mean, the next thing I want to make is it's pineapple and avocado and pear, and you would never in a million years think to put that together, and it's so good.
And
it's
I love a pear and I love a pineapple.
And it's so good. I'm just kind of smashing these.
And for those of you just joining us, we are giving 3 giant bundles of Sage Spoonfuls away.
Yes, big bundles. A bundle of everything we have. So it's like over $200.
Everything they make. Everything. Which I actually didn't know about these real quick.
Yes.
They make these new little snack bags.
Yes.
And I love it. They feel the fabric's really good. And then they have this loop. So you can like hang it on a stroller or a backpack or whatever, like super cute.
Yeah, so your kid can't throw it. You know, you just kind of clip it through your car seat, you clip it through your high chair, you clip it in the stroller, and they can't throw it. And also, I mean, it's just little hands carrying things. And also, as a mom, like you can put 10 of them on your fingers, you know, or I mean, I actually put, we have a fruit dot pattern that I put my iPhone in and my headphones and my keys in my wallet, and you know, you're just sticking it here. I mean, a mom, we need to be hands-free.
Yeah.
We are always having so much stuff.
That's also good because I travel all the time.
Yes.
It'd be nice to like carry all my iPhone cords in.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
like,
absolutely.
Because what I've learned, this is just a side note, it has nothing to do with food. When you're traveling, store your cords in something actual.
Yes.
Because it may seem like it's big and bulky. No, it saves room and it saves you headache
so true.
and heartache.
It's so true. Another thing we do is, you know, you can put, let's say, if you're going on a car trip or you're going to go out to dinner, and you know your kid's going to be so kind of annoyed with being out to dinner, and you want to, I mean, we're trying to like not always have a device in the kids' faces, because I personally have used that as a crutch so much, and I'm trying really hard to break the habit. Like we'll put their favorite snack in the small one, and then maybe the bigger one, we call them the snacky and the munchie. We'll put the snack, and then we'll put like some little cars or Legos or you know, crayons or activities, and they each have their own, and we just take them out of the bag, and it's been a good thing.
It's a great thing.
It's been a good thing. Thank you.
Organization is nice.
Organization. And you know what's funny? Since we started using these, I did not realize how many Ziploc bags I had been using.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What a waste of money.
Yeah.
And I mean, throwing it all
Plastic
away
everywhere.
all the time.
And I still use a Ziploc bag, but
Not
I
every
try
day
to
for
cut
everything
down.
all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely
They're
a time when you
awful.
have to do your thing, but it's good to have stuff that you can reuse.
And for feeding therapists out there, what I really loved about this is that I have dried mango in there, freeze-dried mango.
Ooh, yum.
I zipped it up and I used a rolling pin to be able to crush. Can you hear the crushing? And I'm able to sprinkle this onto purees to be able to give that texture that we want to try to help our kids. So what's so hard is that usually as feeding therapists, we use the black bags and we'll put it and then we'll use the rolling
and
pin.
they rip open.
Yeah.
Oh, Dawn, you're smart.
Smart.
And so I really like that. And the other thing is, like, you know, again, if you're doing this and you're trying so hard to get your picky eater to eat different foods and try different things, is that it's easy to clean. So that was the big thing for me. Is that when
you can put them in the washing machine,
Yes.
you can, you know, run them into the sink, you can clean them out with a little cloth. What's good too is, you know, if you're, you know, working mom or dad, or you need to be out for the day, you know, you can pre-pack there, and there's going to be a mother-in-law, a grandmother, a nanny, whoever, your husband, anybody, you know, pre-pack the snacks, put them in the in the refrigerator, and then, you know, the kids are going to go to the park or whatever. You don't have to worry that they're going to be eating, you know, like Oreos all day long or whatever, because you've got your grapes. Love Oreos, but not all day long. We love Oreos, but not all day long. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it's the truth.
it.
I'm a really big believer in if you're gonna make something, make 2 or 3 times the amount. If you're gonna prepare something for one day, do it for 3 days and just stick it
It's
in
like
there.
meal
so
prep.
scrap.
You know,
Yes.
like
Snack prep,
if
meal
you're
prep.
going to the gym, not me, but if you're going to the gym, a lot of people meal prep and like set out their whole week.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Well, that's another reason why I like this, is because you can do that. I mean, it's very visual. So
The
you
storage
can
containers
see
are great.
how that's going to be able to be utilized.
My whole theory was, like I said before, we are all so busy. So really, with Sage Spoonfuls, you can make 2 weeks worth of baby food in 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can make a month's worth in 30 minutes. I mean, what I always used to do, and continue to do, is just, let's say on a Sunday night, kids are in bed, I pour a wine, and I make a ton of food. Once a month, you can make a ton of food. You put them in the jars, and so, you know, you blend everything up, you scoop it into the jar, you've got a nice screw top lid, you know, there's your jar of food. You put it in the freezer, it's good for 3 months. So rather than schlepping to the store, spending 5 times more money than you wind up going shopping in your freezer rather than at the store. And also our Sage squeezies are also freezer safe, dishwasher safe. You know, it's all about making this easy for parents. I mean, feeding our babies and our toddlers and our kids healthy food should not be a big ordeal. We are all way too busy for that. You know, but we all love our kids more than life itself, and we want them to have the healthiest start to life. And that's what Sage Spoonfuls is all about, making it easy for parents and making it yummy for kids.
What I loved about these is that, for me, I have a really hard time. I have some arthritis in my hands, and these other glass companies, I can't get the darn thing open. And so it's just, and if it's cold, I really can't get it
right.
And I have all the little, for the occupational therapists out there who are watching, those little silicone things that kind of hold onto it.
Right.
Or I even have the screw one underneath.
Yeah.
I can't get the darn things off. This was so easy. So I'm like, okay, let me freeze it, see if I can do it. Okay, let me see if I can do it in the refrigerator. And I was trying it in different temperatures, and I could actually get it off every single time. So for those of you, if that's a concern, because I know that it has been with in the therapy world, is that if we can't open it,
and that's what else I love about like these Q&As with Dawn is like we get so many feeding specialists watching this and like sharing everything. So it's great that like the community, not just the parenting community, but like the specialists are watching this and sharing it, and like
I love that. And you know what's great too is, I mean, it's beach season coming up, and if you want to bring your wine to the beach, this is closed up and it's a glass. It's 8 ounces. You do your thing. You put it in your cooler bag or your backpack or whatever, and you close it up, and it's not going to spill. I know from experience.
Listen, we all find ways to get our alcohol
find ways
out.
to get it in.
That's called real life.
It's called real life.
Very true.
Oh my goodness. So what I have in here.
Mixing that one
Yes,
up.
I'm gonna mix.
Yeah.
This is avocado and pineapple and pear. We're just gonna mix it up. Actually, it makes a really nice, kind of like a salsa-y type kind of a thing.
Oh.
I'm just gonna mix it up. Take it off here. And what I did with this and these pears, I'm gonna just push this down a little bit, and I'm gonna give it one more nice tap. And I don't want this to be totally smooth. We want it to be a little bit chunky. So we're gonna mix it around, because babies absolutely, and kids do not, unless otherwise directed by a pediatrician, do not need to eat totally smooth food for the first 12 to 18 months of life. That really leads to texture aversion and picky eating.
Absolutely.
So by stage 3, you can really have kind of like, a chunkier texture, as long as it's not like a hard chunk that they're gonna choke on, but nice fresh fruit, and you can mix in something smooth like an avocado. It helps it go down easy. You don't need to have everything totally smooth. And that's what Sage Spoonfuls is all about. We give you the immersion blender, the food processor. You can have any kind of texture you need, not just smooth. It's not just about purees. I'm a big believer in, as soon as your baby knows how to swallow food from a spoon, start moving up that texture. You do not need purees all the time. You don't.
These ladies. I still can't get over this is the first time I've done that.
Food kicks you. It's
Food and wine. I mean, what else?
That's all we need.
Oh my gosh.
So using some of these purees, and this puree you liked a little bit better than yogurt, right, Jamie?
I don't want that yogurt again. I don't want that yogurt again.
So
I just don't like a yogurt.
Yes,
You were such a good sport for
I tried.
It was. So I want to show our audience, this is a sliver that I've cut of pear. And so what I love about purees, and this is a chunkier puree, what I love about purees is that it's so important for our kids to learn about how to use their mouth movements to be able to be ready for different foods, especially foods that we're afraid that they're going to choke on. Right. So what we do is we take this piece of pear that's been cut up really nicely, and we dip it into the puree. So this is our dipper, and this is our dip, and then we give that to baby, or we put that onto a plate. And did you see how we usually are a little bit closer, but did you see how his mouth moved in one specific way to get that piece of food?
I love pear so much.
So now, this is a bigger piece of strawberry, a little bit of that dip, and now his mouth is going to have to move even differently. So that was a little bit more rounder, and so what we are teaching this is called jaw grading. And he is grading his jaw to be able to figure out how to put his mouth and his jaw around that piece of food every single time. And this is really making this as a stable environment for them to be able to go through those stages of different foods with something that they're used to, that they have some consistency with.
Exactly. I think that's the key when your child is showing, signs of being a picky eater. Take those couple of things that they love and add in these other elements, and the different textures and the different tastes. I mean, stage 1, it should be smooth and creamy, so they learn how to swallow. But then I like to call this like a chunkalicious. Stage 2, 7 to 9 months, and then I call the stage 3. Mushy mash is stage 2, and chunkalicious is stage 3. And you just, you keep moving them through, and it really helps prevent texture aversions.
Yes. And I love what you just said about keeping it,
hair.
you know, in different environments, like basically
Yes.
in different situations.
Yes.
Because here's the thing: is that if we have a kid who loves avocado, and especially our picky eaters that are like down to like 5, 10, 15 foods, and we add stuff into something that they love,
Yeah.
then we lose the avocado, and now we've lost like our fat. So if you're taking a dipper and a dip, and you're actually dipping into, we're never going to lose this food.
Exactly.
So we're never going to lose the thing that they love because
Yes.
this is the dipper.
Exactly.
So that ends up being
You
another.
just missed what I did.
What did you do? I didn't see it.
I ate avocado on my own.
Oh my gosh. And it's mixed with a pineapple. And it's delicious. And they're
That's
full of
good.
air.
Oh my goodness.
It's
That's
surprisingly good, right?
Yeah.
It's
Have
really
you had
good.
these all
Oh,
together?
I'm gonna take some right now.
Pear, avocado, and pineapple.
I don't know what I would put that on. Probably nothing. But like I could eat it on an apple or something, like
really good.
pieces of pear maybe.
Absolutely.
You know?
Or you just blend it up really smooth and it becomes a smoothie.
Wow, that is
Make a
delicious.
popsicle. Make a popsicle. You could put in some hemp seeds or some ground chia.
Wow.
Isn't that really good?
I've never had this combination. This is delicious.
Yeah, it's one of
And
my
it's like the
favorites.
coleslaw almost. Like it's
Yeah.
not like I
Yeah.
have a coleslaw.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
And I hate a
fan of
coleslaw.
personally.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not.
hate a coleslaw.
Yeah, I'm not. Hey, that's one thing we agree on. I'm not a big
If
fan.
the pears are like
Absolutely.
super juicy, then it gets more of almost like an applesaucey type of a texture. I mean, you can play with the textures, and it's not too sweet, but it's
Yeah.
sweet.
Wow.
And really, almost anything you kind of whip up, you can make a popsicle, and the older kids will eat it too.
I mean, this almost tastes like it's like flavorful every time I do it. Like for the Latinas out there, put a little cayenne pepper on top of this.
Do you want
Oh
some?
my god, yes.
I can.
I'm like, or you can whipped cream. I mean, it could be a dessert. It's
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
sweet and yummy. Thank you.
And you know,
Oh
I'm
my
thinking
goodness.
about popsicles, and you know, babies when they're teething for such a long time, and a nice thing is, a nice treat is rather like when baby's teething, rather than maybe like kind of a frozen kind of plastic thing to chew on, you take a semi-frozen fruit puree and let it swish around their gums. You make a little small popsicle and let them kind of chew on that, and it's not plastic, it's not like silicone. It is a nice like just fresh frozen fruit puree. It's great for teething.
Wow, that is delicious.
That's yummy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like stuff like this normally.
Wow.
Because it also, you know, with the pineapple, it just totally cuts the mushiness of the avocado. I mean, avocado
And I
is just so
love
good.
pear, like the gritty texture of a pear.
Mm-hmm. It's so yum. So yum.
Mm.
Wow, you
So
guys have
really,
to try this.
I mean,
we need to
that's-
make this.
That's really what we're all about, making it easy, mixing things together. And
I should be eating crap like this instead of a bag of gummy bears while I watch movies.
It could be your gummy bear can be like your dipper, and this can be your dip. You know, you can
Yes.
blend the two. You can blend the two.
Yes. Well, now you know how to do it. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about this, right?
Are you
Is
gonna
when you
leave
see
your
someone that can
processors
do
here
it,
with
I'm
you?
gonna leave this all
it's
for you.
helpful.
Okay.
Yes.
That way we don't have to clean anything and we can just go to dinner.
I love it.
That crap is so good.
Yeah, I'm.
Yeah, it's
obsessed.
surprising. And you can make it totally smooth and make it a smoothie, or you can leave it chunky. And, you know,
I
and
love
it can
that.
also be like something you put on chicken, you know,
Oh.
like as a kind of a chutney type of thing.
Can we've not shown your new steamer yet. Can we show
Oh,
that?
the steamer. So, you know, when you look at this, you see a simple steamer that
Just ignore us.
you know you've seen. But what we did was, if you can see how high the legs are about 2 inches versus like a short ½ an inch. Because when you have those tiny little legs, you're basically boiling the food, and that kind of all the nutrients goes out into the water. These are about 2 inches high and just raises the food above the water, so you're really getting a steam. And it's nice and big, and it has a telescoping handle, so you don't burn yourself. And you can put like, it's so big, it's much more capacity than the plastic baby food steamer machines, because again, who has time to kind of cook on demand every 3 days? So for this, I'll put like a huge amount of apples, even like some peas here, some butternut squash, just honk it all in there together, and then just dump it into the food processor or in the bowl with the immersion blender, and everything. The more you can make in bulk, the more time you
I
can
did
save.
not think I liked this at all.
I know.
I love that
Because
you love that.
I don't really like avocado. So now I'm like, maybe I should give guacamole
Yeah.
a second try.
Yeah. Well, we could do it tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's.
I want to dip some
What is
stuff
this
in there.
contraption right here?
So this is, so in the feeding therapy world, we use these to be able to hold on to the edge and have kids chew, to learn how to chew and to
Oh.
bite. And so they come in
Have you
different
done
sizes.
these?
Oh,
No.
Do it.
then we're
I
gonna
do
have to
them
do
all
it
the
on
time.
here.
You
We're gonna
get
have
to do
to
it
on
this
here.
time.
So what I love about purees is not only that you can dip different dippers, like food dippers in there, but utensils and other things can be a dipper into this.
That's very true.
So, so what we like to do, this is our chewy that's, and I'm going to put it on your back teeth right here and just kind of bite down on that.
Oh, they're soft.
Yeah, so it's nice soft. So it's, if I'm going to teach a kid how to chew, so I might dip a little bit into this puree and put that on there, and then your tongue lateralizes and comes to that side, and so this is how we teach chewing, and then we move it to the other side. I'm so great! I caught her too. So I do this to Jamie all the time, but she's just so beautiful to be able to catch her on that.
Very
so
sweet.
it gives parents the ability to teach chewing without worrying about choking.
Love
So this, for parents out there that are always writing me and saying, I'm so afraid of my kid choking. So you can grab some of these to be able to utilize that. So I like to use some chewers to be able to do that. I also like to use different sizes of teethers, and this is called the toddler roll.
We just found this.
So cool.
And
Love
it's
it.
incredible.
Amazing product.
So cool.
And so it looks like a paper towel holder, but it's made out of silicone, and it's very easy. And so I like dipping this into a puree and being able to have a little bit, having the child,
Chew on it, Liza, chew on it.
There you go. And be able to.
Oh my God, bring my face.
Yes, and that's the thing, right? Is that helps with the sensory issues, help with being able to chew, and it's something very different.
That's awesome.
Again, when we're talking about grading of the mouth, grading of the
I
jaw,
love that.
being able to put this around a child's mouth and be able to put this around a child's mouth, very different sizes. So we want them to be able to have this experience with food, because sometimes, therapists, well-meaning, will use sprays of different things to have some kind of a taste. But really what we want is
something real,
foods that's
exactly.
real, that we want them to be able to move and transition to.
Exactly.
So being able to have tools like this to be able to kind of dip. And again, anything could be a dipper. Your own finger could be a dipper. Your thumb could be a dipper. I mean, how many times have you licked your fingers and your kids are like,
Lots of them.
Exactly.
So these are great dippers.
A lot of times parents will say, well, my baby doesn't have any teeth yet, they don't have any teeth yet, so everything needs to be totally smooth, they don't have any teeth. But the truth is, once they really know how to swallow food from a spoon, you can have something more chunky like this because they're gumming it. That's the step before chewing, and that's what is so important about not giving baby pureed food for 12 to 18 months, moving them through. As long as everything is really soft and able to be gummed, thicker and mushy, and they learn to gum, then they get that one tooth, and you can give like a little sliver, maybe a blueberry or something like, very, very soft and small that they can then learn to chew. So you don't need to wait until they have teeth to bump up the texture. As long as it can be gummed, you're good to go. You're good to go.
I'm still super into this.
I can't believe it. I'm so happy.
That aftertaste is just delicious. So can we keep going with some sensory stuff?
You know what? The thing is, we've not even touched on questions tonight, so I apologize.
Oh my goodness.
But it's okay. There's so much other stuff going on, so it's like
we can do questions too.
if we get to a couple questions at the end, so be it. If not, so be it. This has also been a great.
And if anyone has questions, I do all the answering on Sage Spoonfuls social media. Our Instagram is Sage Spoonfuls.
Follow
Facebook
the
is
Instagrams of both of them. You know how I tag everybody. The Instagram account is beautiful.
Thank you. We post lots and lots of recipes, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So please feel free.
You should also follow Liza's personal account. I didn't just tell you to do that, but I did.
You're very sweet. You're very sweet.
So other things that we can do with purees is that we can get kids to be able to learn how to play with them. So we talked about this just a little bit briefly, but for those of you who have kids that are picky eaters, and your therapist is telling you to play with sensory play, they really want a puree texture, but it's usually things like sheeting cream and other different textures that the kids can't eat. And the first thing that they do is that they start exploring this, and then they start putting that sand or sheeting cream in their mouth, because this is a way that kids learn how to eat, is they're being able to explore, even if they're older kids. So I have some of my kids with autism that are still learning about these textures.
Right.
And I want it to be whole foods. I want it to be something that they can smell. I mean, I'm still smelling this amazing
And it's so
sauce.
enticing, it makes you want to eat it. Yeah.
And so if we're playing in it, and it can be different ways that we can play. So we can roll some of the purees. We can kind of cut purees. All the things that you use for Play-Doh, you can use with purees. You can use a paintbrush and you can paint a little bit of the puree. Paint it on the tongue, paint it on the face, paint it with a piece of paper. We'll make food paints all the time with different purees. So, and this is perfect because all these are small enough to be able to make a little bit of puree. You can dip into a little bit of blueberry, put it on a piece of paper, dip a little bit into raspberry, put it on a piece of paper. Have all these beautiful colors that still, they're having that smell. And then parents are going to say, I know what you're going to say right now when you're making a comment, but they're not eating it. But here's the thing, if we are able to do this and utilize this and we're smelling it and we're engaging it with all of our senses, then we're going to be able to start to want to eat it, especially if they're crossing midline. So what I want to do is I want to have this piece of paper here, if I have a right-handed eater, piece of paper, then I'm going to have this container with the puree food in it on the other side. I am crossing midline over, dipping in, putting on the paper. Study shows that the more that kids cross midline to be able to eat, the more likely that they're going to be able to engage in those foods.
Really?
So we want anything that you cross midline. So it can be sports, different things, anything that's crossing midline. For you therapists that are out there, you know what I'm talking about, thank you for the hearts. And so we're going to cross midline and we want these foods to be over there, especially the foods that you want them to start to be able to eat.
Right.
So the foods that they already eat are on dominant side, foods that we're trying to learn on the other side. So they kind of have to cross over and we have that more of that attention span. So these are nice and small and easy again, everything's see-through, which I love. So these kids are constantly seeing these colors and being able to explore that with the sense of smell.
And they can put the lid on, they can shake things around, to hear it, to see it, to smell it, all those senses. I mean, food is supposed to be an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I always say, as adults, because people say, Liza, does it matter? Does it really matter? And I say, well, think about it this way. The food tastes so different. So as an adult, we go to, restaurant A and we order something and it tastes horrible. Even if someone tells us restaurant B makes it better, we're messed up over it. We are messed up over it. We are not going to try it. So it's great to kind of give them these taste, like the first taste be the freshest taste, be the yummiest.
That's just like my issue with mussels. I love seafood.
Even I have mussels.
I don't like mussels, clams, oysters, keep them away from me. But in Vancouver, there's this wonderful place called Rodney's Oyster House or Oyster Bar. And we went when I was there in Vancouver, and Lindsay Pinchuk, who you all know, we're all there eating, and she was like, these mussels are the best I've ever had, you need to try one. And I'm like, no, I really have tried before, I don't like them, they're disgusting. And she's like, no, trust me. And I had one, and I immediately ordered my own order of them.
Wow.
And I will not eat them anywhere else because I'm so worried about the wonderful experience I had with those mussels being ruined. But I'm just like, no, eat all your mussels you want. I'm not going to touch them until I get to Vancouver.
Nice.
3 weeks. 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. I don't know anymore. 2 weeks.
Days are running together.
May is busy.
May is busy.
May is busy. May is good.
Yes.
Busy is good.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So really that is what we're all about, is fresh and healthy and easy. It does not need to be fancy. We're mixing single fresh whole foods with other single fresh whole foods. Put it in a jar, put it in the freezer, throw it in your bag. Give some to your toddler, freeze it, make a popsicle. Throw it in a pouch, make it a smoothie, as easy as possible. Because it doesn't need to be difficult. That's what Sage Spoonfuls is all about. Make a lot at one time, freeze it, feed it to everybody.
I think also, what I think is so funny about your packaging also, and we don't have the big regular box. But it is, you see this box on a shelf. And it has this picture of everything you're getting, but then you open it and it actually is an entire system. Storage, cookbook, processor, blender, everything.
It's really everything you need. And you don't need a big heavy machine sitting on your counter. A simple steamer basket or even just the blender, because so much can be made raw, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. Filling the pouches, you don't need to spend money on an extra filling station. You just don't. There's, a lot of people think that homemade baby food is more expensive, but it's 3 to 5, sometimes 8 times less expensive, depending on what brand you buy. And then also remember, baby doesn't often finish a whole pouch. It's you really wind up wasting a lot less or spending a lot less, but you're giving your child such a gift, and you're giving yourself a gift because you don't have to deal with the heartache and the nuisance of having a raging picky eater. Because it's hard.
Yes.
It's hard to deal with that.
And really what I love about these recipes is that, again, the title is How to Avoid Picky Eating, is that if you're actually eating the same food that baby's eating, I mean, we're not eating baby food jars from a store. Us adults are not eating that.
Yeah, exactly.
This is baby food, but also all three of us just enjoyed it.
Exactly.
And so they're seeing that over and over. We're always telling parents to be models for,
yes,
for our kids,
yeah.
but then we're not eating what they're eating.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this is just a fun way to be able to have everyone in the family be able to eat that.
Yeah.
And as many times as you can make this blend it smoother or thicker or add a little bit more pineapple or not, or for each person, it's just like it's the same ingredients, but you're just making it just something a little bit different.
Exactly.
And so, making it to be able to make it just a little bit of avocado for Jamie and then blending it up and scooping some out.
Was there not a lot of avocado in that?
Right? No,
There was a half.
There was a half an avocado in that?
In that.
But then if I wanted more, we could keep going
add
and
more,
then add
absolutely.
more. And so here it is to be able to please everyone's palate all in the same container.
Yeah.
And so it just all the value systems that we're constantly teaching and asking parents to do this stuff 3 times a day, and it's so difficult for them to be able to do it. And then we wonder why they can't succeed.
Absolutely.
It's because they don't have the tools.
You make it in bulk. The key is making it in bulk. If you're gonna make something, make a lot and freeze it. That is my whole philosophy, and then you just grab. It's the 3 and 3 rule. In the Sage Spoonful system, the stuff stays good 3 days in the fridge and 3 months in the freezer. And then you just, if you really want to make a lot, spend 30 to 45 minutes, 1 day a month. Make a ton and just keep it in your freezer.
Do it while you binge watch Netflix on your iPad.
Pour a glass of wine
Uh-huh.
or whatever you want. It doesn't need to be a big ordeal. And then you wind up really drastically reducing the chances that your baby's going to be a picky eater.
So I know that we want to do some questions, but
Yes.
I know that some of this is when I'm working with families and they say we're skipping the puree phase because we don't want to do this. What they're trying to say is that they don't want to do the time. And when I get these questions, you can already see that this isn't going to take a lot of time. The next thing that parents tell me is that it can't handle for the whole entire family. So baby's having one thing, and again, we just showed you that again. Another thing is that we're constantly being asked parents to make food a little bit more fun. But we just talked about that too, making puzzles and doing different things.
Right.
And other people are saying that it's harder to make purees a little bit more fun. So I brought a Happy Mat that happens to be sage.
Love.
And
Love
so I just thought it would be easy to show some purees into the eyes.
And actually, easy peasy and Sage Spoonfuls, we are having a big giveaway on the Sage Spoonfuls Instagram page tomorrow.
Yes.
Win it Wednesday. We're giving just lots of stuff.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And so I'm going to take some of
I
these.
love that.
So we have...
Are those candy eyes?
Yes, they're candy eyes, and you're seeing me do this live, guys, so this is just so easy.
Just seconds.
I'm just taking seconds of
Take
these different
take
textures,
this out.
right? And look what we just created.
It looks like Oscar
So
the
I'm
Grouch.
going to make that a little bit... It does
Love
look
it.
like Oscar the Grouch! Oh my goodness!
I love it.
That was planned. And so
Look at that.
look at the different textures that we have there, right? We have a little bit of a chunky puree and then different pieces. And so we can let baby be able to self-feed, scoop that food, be able to put it into your mouth, try the different textures, all on the same thing. So when families tell me that they can't make food fun because of the puree, that's not actually true either. So we've kind of busted all these myths about purees, really quickly.
And I say when in doubt, freeze it, make a popsicle. Because you can keep it for 3 months and they're gonna eat it.
Yeah.
They'll eat anything in a popsicle.
Yes.
And if it looks too green, throw in some, like cacao powder or something. It's brown, it's all magically chocolate. And they'll eat it.
Anything you can add chocolate into.
Anything you can add chocolate. And the raw cacao powder is great. There's no sugar, it's just bursting with antioxidants and call it a pudding and nobody knows the difference.
And the kids love that color.
I love that. Anything chocolate colors, and just freeze it. Or you know what? Muffins too. Throw it in a muffin.
Muffins are good too.
Throw it in a muffin.
This would be great in a muffin.
Blend it.
Oh yeah,
Oh my
would.
goodness.
Throw it in a muffin. You have your batter, throw it in there.
Yeah.
That would be really
Because
like
kids
that
can eat
idea.
anything in chip form, muffin form, and popsicle form.
Yes.
So that's really, freeze it, bake it.
Yeah.
They'll eat it.
That's great advice.
Love it. So should we do some questions?
Yes, let's
We can do a couple, but then
Yes.
we have to get going.
Yes.
Because life waits. Gonna go back for a second.
I'm gonna use my Num Num dipper.
Where is?
Oh, those are pretty too.
Those are awesome.
I love these.
Come on, load.
So good.
Come on.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Technology.
There you go. Is it loading?
Okay, it's loading. Here we go.
There we are.
So delicious.
So
So Liza's looking for some questions. We talk about being able to feed baby and feed baby the right way and
Yes.
some feeding milestones
Yes.
for baby. So let's talk about that, especially since we have so many different textures here.
Yes.
oh, sorry.
Oh, no, okay.
In stereo.
Yeah. So when we're talking about feeding milestones for children, I really like to be able to have a puree to be
Yes.
able to start with. And there's different feeding approaches, which we've talked about before too.
Right.
So we have a traditional feeding approach where you just do purees
Right.
all the way through.
Right.
We have the baby led weaning approach where you don't do any purees, so you're cutting out all purees and you're just kind of going for the whole form. And then we have what I call a combo, and what basically the combination between those two feeding methods, and that we're actually using some purees, we're doing some baby led weaning techniques, but we're not taking anything out.
I think that's one of the reasons we bonded so quickly.
Yes.
We're both huge fans
Yes.
of the baby combo feeding.
Yes.
People will say to me, oh, you know, we don't want to do any purees, we don't want to do any purees. And I'm kind of right in the middle between baby-led weaning and purees. I
Yes.
believe you need to learn to crawl before you can walk.
Right.
So I believe learn how to swallow food from a spoon, boom, you're off and running. Bump it up, bump it up, bump it up, bump it up.
We eat purees as adults.
Right.
So it's like
Smoothies, I mean, it's
Yes.
nice to have all textures.
ice
I mean,
cream,
Ice cream.
Great.
salsa.
And it's so important to be able to go through developmental milestones, and there's developmental milestones for spoons. And so we don't, and you know, there's developmental milestones for forks too. But for spoons, how else are you going to put something on
Right.
a spoon at 6 months? That's why I love my Num Nums. It's because
Yep.
we can dip this in,
And this texture especially
and
is
we're
perfect
starting.
for
Yes,
that.
exactly. We're starting to have that developmental milestone of baby opens their mouth at 6 months of age. So I can
Yep.
dip this pre-spoon in there and start feeding baby, and then baby, you know, at 9 months is going to start feeding himself.
And
so,
with the homemade, it will stay on the spoon.
Exactly,
It's not running and falling
exactly.
out. You don't even need bibs even that much for
Exactly.
homemade baby food because it doesn't like drool and drip all over the place. And so I mean, it's amazing. Perfect.
So, and I can smell it from here. It's just, it smells so fresh. It's delicious.
Okay, here we go for a question. My app was going crazy, so I can't get anything. Suggestions for toddlers who had a feeding regression after 1 year molars came through. My daughter stopped eating meat after she got her 1 year molars. She is 3 now.
Okay, perfect. So the technique that we just used when we were talking about using these and being able to put them in.
What is this called
Oh,
again?
so they're different grabbers. So basically this one is called the Chewy Tubes, and it's one of my favorites. So Chewy Tubes, I think you can find them at ARC Therapeutic. We'll post it if your Spectrum Speech and Feeding is on here, so Rachel is doing that for me. So if you could put the Chewy Tubes on there for the audience, that would be great, Rachel. So you can use these to be able to get them back into a more harder texture for meat. So the yellow is the easiest ones. It's really flexible. The red are a little bit harder. Then there's blue and green that's a little bit bigger. And we can utilize the same thing, being able to chew on one side, and you as a parent are holding this and having that movement. And you can put little pieces of meat in here too and bite it down, and because the saliva starts to be able to put that through, like our beef jerky, a little bit in there, and then you're kind of controlling the amount too, because
Right.
you just put a little bit of
Little
meat in
bit.
there, and then they're starting to bite, you're controlling that amount.
Taste of it.
They can get the taste of it, and they can start to learn how to
And
chew.
they get back into it.
Exactly,
They find
because
it again.
it's so fatiguing to be able to chew foods for longer periods of time.
So for people, I'm throwing this at you, but for people
Yes.
that don't have access to stuff like this, because I don't know if you can just randomly buy them if you're not medical, whatever. Would something like those silicone straws from
Yes,
Silly Kids work?
that was it. Oh, I had those here. Yes, good job, Jamie. So
It's all about building the bridge, media
Yes.
training. You're welcome.
yes, the silly straws I love. They come in different sizes, and it just, can you show those?
Here, there's silicone straws from Silly
And
Kids.
I was actually going to drink some of the yogurt. And
Yeah.
I forgot all about it. But so yes, you can do that. In fact, you can suck up any puree too. Suck it up through a straw or inject it, but usually parents just suck it up. Freeze them, and so these end up
I
being
love
chewy.
that. Genius.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is genius for teens.
Dawn.
Oh my gosh.
Dawn.
Oh my gosh. Hey, this is
my part of the show.
Brain exploding.
That's
So
a great
I
idea.
just suck them up like like I'll suck up the yogurt blend, which I was going to show, but you suck up the yogurt blend, and then you just lay them down into the freezer, let them cool off, and then this is also really good for kids who are teething.
Yes.
So, my mom put tequila on my gums today. But you can also do this for teething. And so you're basically, and again, you're holding the amount. So you as a parent can hold the edge and hold that, let them gnaw on this side, and again, you're not worried about them getting too much, and then you push a little bit further and go over.
Well, okay, so here's an idea for you, because I know a lot of women with like their extra breast milk, they will freeze in like the little bags.
I do the same thing.
So you do breast milk in those and let the kids chew on it.
So smart.
I have drank a lot of breast milk in my life.
That's not something you hear every day at a kitchen island.
As a feeding therapist, this is what I do. So I'll do the same thing. Suck it up, put it there, we put them on, and parents and teaching parents how to be able to do these things. You know who's really good at this is dads. Dads like to have that kind of fun thing to do, and this is something where I just train the dads. I'm like, this is how you can kind of work on those chewing skills, work on the tongue lateralization, because when you're putting it in your mouth, just like what you did when I caught you on that, is that when you put this in, your tongue just naturally goes to that. And we need to have that tongue lateralization in order to transition from a smooth puree to a chunky one, to an even chunkier one. We need to be able to do that. So thanks, I had them here, and I bring, me guys, I always bring like tons of stuff. And then
it's like her box of pops.
Yeah. So, any questions on that? We started off with meat, but you can do that with meat.
Yeah.
Oh, and then also when it comes to fatiguing with meat, I usually like meat to be, so these kids that have low tone or have a hard time being able to chew, is do meat at the very beginning of the meal. So breakfast, first thing at breakfast, because kids fatigue over the day and it's harder and harder for them to chew and digest meat. So if you can't chew it well enough, then you're not going to digest it very well.
You know what
I
started
doing breakfast
with the meat too, especially for the younger kids and babies, is ground meat.
Yes.
Like, making the, taking like a half pound of ground chicken or ground turkey or ground beef, and you cook it on the stove top in either a little bit of coconut oil or even just poach it in some broth, and you keep breaking it up and making sure it's nice and stays really small bits, and then you mix it into a really nice, silky, sweet potato puree. So they're gumming, they're chewing, they're getting back into it, but it's not like a chunk of meat. The ground, it breaks up really nice and easily.
Yes.
So that's something I like to do.
And with that too is that their tongues can find it in the food, which is great.
You find it in space. It's all about finding it in space.
All in there. Any more questions that you can read?
Somebody said if they exclusively breastfeed until 8 months old, would they go straight to mashes after that?
So I'll comment on that too, but if you want to make a comment.
I mean, really, I say, let them try the something that's smooth, but yet not like this, because they still have to learn.
Yeah.
Whether they learn it at 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 8 months, they still have to learn. And they may get it on the first bite, it may take, 2 weeks to learn. What I love to do when I have, 4 kids, like I said, what I love to do is when I'm teaching them how to take food from a spoon is I take a fresh, clean spoon myself and show them what they're supposed to do. Sometimes parents will just be like, put the spoon here. The kid's never seen a spoon or they don't know what to do with it. But yes, definitely start out with, a smooth puree because they still have to learn. Yeah.
And I like to also put some of the breast milk in there.
Yeah.
So that we can kind of make that the right texture for them to be able to do that. And we definitely want to do it before 9 months of age, because we know research shows at 9 months of age, if kids haven't had some solid foods, it doesn't mean you can still breastfeed. It doesn't mean that
just
you
work in the solid.
Exactly.
You bring up a good point. People wonder, okay, how do I thin a puree or thicken a
breast
puree?
milk.
You can absolutely 1000% thin a puree with breast milk.
Or formula.
Or purified water. And if you need to thicken a puree, if maybe you kind of overdid it with too much breast milk, you can make up a little bit of kind of homemade baby oatmeal. I just say, skip the store-bought rice cereal.
No rice cereal. There's no need for it.
There's no need for it, and our Sage Baby Puree and Blend, you basically put in just a cup of old-fashioned rolled oats. Take the old-fashioned, long cooking ones, because the more quick cooking they are, and especially when you get to the packets, the more processed they are. So you take the old-fashioned rolled oats, you put it in here, you spin it around till it's about a powder consistency, and there it is.
I need to try, because in my Instant Pot, they say you can make steel cut oats and everything pretty quick. So I need to try that when I get back
yeah.
to travel.
Yeah.
Because I love still cut oats
Yeah.
with like
Yeah.
strawberries in the
Yeah.
morning.
Me too.
Like,
It's so good for you, but you want the kind of old-fashioned, like
Yes.
old school,
Yeah.
because the more quick cooking it is, it means the more processed
Right.
it's been and the more nutrients are stripped from it.
yeah.
Right.
Everybody's like, we learned so much during this. Great
Oh,
advice, great
thank
point. So we've been going for an hour and 10 minutes. Doesn't feel like that.
It doesn't
No,
feel like
at
that.
all.
This has been
At
so
all.
much fun.
Because you know we like to talk. So we're gonna run. Don't forget, we are giving 3 giant sets
Giant.
of all the Sage Spoonfuls things away. So yeah, very excited.
Jamie, this is my first Facebook Live, so I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of questions we didn't
Yeah.
get to. Can I go
Yeah,
on your page?
you can
and-
absolutely do it.
Okay, so I am tonight for my hotel. After we have our Mexican
yes.
dinner and maybe a margarita or 2, I'm going to go on the computer and tomorrow on the plane, and I want to go through all your questions.
Yeah.
So please write them on Jamie's page or write them on the Sage Spoonfuls Facebook page or Sage Spoonfuls Instagram, and I want to get to as many questions
Yeah.
as possible. So
Perfect.
And I think that's one thing, like, that I've always liked about this whole thing in you is like, it hasn't just been like, I make this baby food maker. It's always been like a resource, like
You know
you're
who's behind
very
the brand.
engaged,
Yes,
and it's like
thank you.
Right.
it's an educational resource aside from being just like a food processor.
Thank
and that's
you.
what I love. And I love Liza, and I love Dawn.
And we love you.
Thank you
We
for
love you.
coming to Denver.
Thank you for
Thank you for
me.
driving down the street.
Yes. And thank you all so
Um,
much for joining us. This has been an amazing first
Um,
Facebook Live.
And if
Thank
you haven't, somebody just said they're bummed they missed this. You haven't missed it. It will live on Facebook forever. I also save these videos to my phone, and when I get back in June, I swear I'm gonna put all of these on YouTube. I just don't have time right now. So thank you all for hanging out. We're gonna go eat fajitas, and then I get on a plane in the morning, and I'm
So
gone for a
nice.
month. So
Cheers to all of you. Thank you so much.
my wine is not. Oh, there it is.
It's right
Oh, here we go.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Have a wonderful
Thank you
night.
for hanging out. Bye.